Hey everyone, real quick before we get into this long formatted interview style with Thomas Burns here, I wanted to ask a favor of you. If you enjoy this style of content, if you enjoy this long formatted, no breaks video with lots of content and discussion on a lot of different topics, I really would appreciate you guys just going ahead and subscribing and liking the video. Liking the video is going to let me know that you guys want to see more of this, and subscribing is really going to help the channel grow and get towards that monetization. So I really do appreciate you guys stopping in and being interested in this video. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys at the end.
Okay.
So just go ahead and introduce yourself, and yeah, floor is
Cool.
yours.
So what's up, guys? So I'm Thomas. Um, so I just graduated college at Emporia State University. Um, I got my degree in athletic training. So this is kind of something that I was very passionate about. I originally started off thinking I was gonna, do mechanical engineering, like all this other stuff, but really, actually, the gym and bodybuilding and everything kind of led me towards athletic training. So kind of one thing kind of worked off the other,
Yeah.
and I knew that I ran into like a lot of different injuries and that sort of thing in the gym, and I wanted to help athletes get their injuries too and help them excel in their sport that they were passionate about. So that's kind of how I managed to, kind of get into athletic training and that sort of thing. Um, but yeah, so I kind of grew up in Wichita, that sort of thing, and then found my way to Emporia after, kind of some impulse decisions, and ended up graduating from here. So, but yeah, done a couple, I think, what is it, 5 different bodybuilding shows now, got my pro card. Um, yeah, so got a little bit of experience behind me, plan to do another 4 shows this next year in 2021, but that's kind of the plan right now. So I'm currently about ready to move to Hendersonville, Tennessee in a week. So it's going to be a big move, and there's a lot of opportunity out there when it comes to bodybuilding, gyms, life, you know, different things. So I already have a big move with that. And other than that, I'm going to start my master's in exercise science.
Wow.
So that's kind of a big thing. Yeah, I'm doing that online through University of California, Pennsylvania. So I got hooked up with that because my athletic trainer GA's boyfriend works with Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs, and he is doing the same program. And he kind of got me connected with it and everything, and he's like, it's a great program, all this stuff, it's online, no GRE. So I'm like, perfect, that's the way to do it. So yeah, I jumped on it and getting after it. So I'm like, I don't really want to take a break from school because I know if I do, I'll never come back.
Yeah. So
So
you just rolling right from your bachelor's right into your master's then?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I'm just gonna go roll one to the next and then be done after 2 years. So that's the plan.
That's great, man.
So yeah.
S-
So I'm pretty excited, a little nervous. Don't get me wrong, but I'm excited. I finally, then I'm looking to maybe start up a coaching business, something like that on the side, little hobby, something like that. But other than that, that's kind of it in a nutshell right now.
Yeah.
But
So with coaching, you're not doing anything right now because that's really
not,
because you have such a great physique, and from what you've said, you've done 5 shows in how many years have you been actually competing?
um, since 20, what is it, fall 2019?
Yeah. Was the show that we did, the Midwest Classic, was that your first show?
Yeah,
O-
yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
you've really banged out quite a few shows
yeah.
since then.
Yeah, I'm actually helping. I guess I am helping a few people. I'm not like getting paid by any means for it, but I'm helping a couple people with their macros and stuff. They're doing body recomposition, that sort of thing. After like the quarantine, that sort of thing. We've actually kind of they've gained some excess weight, and we're just kind of helping them kind of lose the excess weight and kind of come back to a more better body composition. So then, we can start adding, appropriate, muscle composition so they can come back on a, overall greater success. So that's kind of the plan with them, but really that's about it. I think that's only with one buddy that I competed with here, and I'm just kind of testing the waters with doing that and that sort of thing. But yeah.
Okay.
But overall, like the past, like with just working with him in the past, like been doing with him for the past like 5 weeks, 6 weeks, he's lost good 8 pounds, something like that.
That's
so
awesome.
He's losing weight pretty slow, not super fast, but losing some weight pretty slowly and up, that sort of thing. So then we can start, upping those calories a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, that's good that you're working with people, because I think that's a great way for people to be making money. And I know it's not all about money, but because me personally, I work with a couple ladies right now trying to, like you said, body composition, trying to get that that first baby, second baby weight off, that post marriage weight off. And I guess that's a pretty good follow in is what's your philosophy with your clients? I know a lot of people have different ways of looking at how they break down the macros. Some people do vegan and keto diets and whatnot. What would you say hypothetically if I was a 5'5" woman, maybe 200 pounds, obviously overweight? Like, what would be your baseline first, I don't know, 8 weeks? What would be like a basic program for you to help them get going?
So literally, I would just, have them track their food, as normal as they could for a week. Then once you get their food tracked normal for a week, that gives you 7 days of average calories. So then you take that 7 days of average calories, then that kind of makes it custom to them, and then you just take that average of those 7 days, and then you can build the macros off of that 7 days. Does that make sense?
That's exactly how I do it. Yep.
Yeah, because then if if you're, using calculators and all this other stuff, then it's not, that can be so swayed towards one side or the other, and it can either work really well or it can be really far off. So, I feel like, building averages and that sort of things based off of either 7 or 14-day averages based on calorie intake, I feel like works really well. So, because, that's kind of like what usually they take in about the same amount, usually every day, or if they take in, let's say like if they take in 3,000 one day and they take in 6,000 another day, then, usually kind of buffers in and out. So.
Okay, that makes sense. What would that makes a lot of sense. That's good, and I think that's going to help a lot of people that are new to this industry, fitness in general. I was just talking with a new lady the other day, and I think she sent me a screenshot of her MyFitnessPal. I'm not trying to plug them or anything, but it was like 400 calories for the whole day, and it was coffee with creamer, a sandwich, and then coffee with creamer, and it was like, and then I kind of gave her like an idea of how you were kind of saying it, given like an average and then breaking it down. Like that's how I kind of explained it to her, and she was like, "That's so much food." And obviously you're educated. I'm just a bro on YouTube. She was so shocked that I said 1,600 calories. Yeah. So what would be? I guess we'll just stay on this idea. Oh, hey, bud. What would be your idea of kind of persuading them and explaining to them how they need to, say, retrain their metabolism and how they need to make their stomach more comfortable with eating that kind of volume of food to kind of fuel that metabolism?
Yeah, I think it's really important. Maybe you could explain it to them, like, because you're almost like, think of maybe like your body as an engine, and you're fueling that engine, but if
Exactly.
you're not giving, the fuel to that engine, it's only going to run so well, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's almost like your body's engine's almost like its metabolism. So maybe that's like why some people have such a hard time losing weight when they'll eat so little. It's because their metabolism isn't running as effectively as it could. So then that's why when people start getting on diet programs, they're able to eat so much and increase their calorie intake and still lose weight at the same time. It's because their metabolism is learning to speed up while their calorie intake is also speeding up at the same time they're losing weight.
Perfect.
So
Yeah,
does that make sense?
that's perfect. Yeah, you couldn't say it better.
Yeah. So
What would be your? I don't want to overemphasize supplementation, uh, but what would you say you would really like your clients to take in forms of supplementation to have more of like a balanced overall health? We're not talking about estrogen blockers or fat burners or anything like advanced, just like the basic package that would best suit someone just getting into dieting and a healthy lifestyle.
is this somebody that's going to be like weight training or somebody that's going to be like,
I think personally, and I think most of the people that are going to watch this, they really do believe in a solid level of foundational strength. Wow, I'm
yeah,
getting excited. These are my girlfriend's cats. I'm not crazy. They just came with the package. I've got two of my cats behind me. Um, yeah, what would you say with that? Having them
yeah,
with a basic foundational, push pull legs, barbell squats, but like the basics,
yeah,
foundational
I would
strength.
say because, like with your food, you're going to get like your macronutrients, like that sort of thing. So I'd say like a multivitamin's great. So then you're going to get like your micronutrients, like that sort of thing also. So like a multivitamin, fish oil, like that sort of thing. And then I would say like a whey protein powder is great. Um, what else? Maybe like a BCA, and
Mm.
I'd say that's good. That's kind of what I started on.
Hmm.
And then, slowly as I got older, I kind of experimented a little more. Kind of stepped into, pre-workout. Then somebody told me about creatine. Then I was like, okay, like, then I started mixing creatine, my BCAAs, and getting that together every day. Then, I kind of got into digestive enzymes and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of, as beginners you are, and, as much as you want to try things, I feel like it's great to be on like fish oil, multivitamin, joint support, and then have a whey protein. And what else do you want to add to that?
I well, it's for like a beginner. I think all those are great options. I wouldn't specifically say whey protein, as
Yeah,
a lot of people have dietary restrictions.
that's true.
But I don't know. I haven't found a good plant protein that tastes good at all.
Yeah,
An isolate I feel is more advanced for someone.
yeah,
But if you have a lactose issue like myself,
yeah.
I usually do have to side towards taking an isolate just because it has. Wow, the cats are just everywhere.
And they love you right now.
Yeah, I would think the only thing I would want to add from what you've said is potentially a joint formula.
Yeah,
I know Animal, I don't want to plug brands, but I know Animal makes a great product. They have their Flex, which is their joint formula. They have their the big one, the Animal Pack, the big yellow box. And they have all that stuff, and a lot of different supplement companies do as well. I just don't know if can a person normally, and I don't want to get in the root into the weeds too much, but I think it's important for beginners to understand that they can supplement. They don't have to go to a brick and mortar and just get everything that the gentleman or the lady says. Do some research, and if you want
absolutely.
to, you could get a multivitamin, you could get a fish oil or an omega, you could get a joint supplement. But it is definitely important to say, and I know you know, but for beginners, it's really important to get as much of your vitamins and essential minerals and whatnot from your foods, from
Right.
whole source foods. You know, I think that's
Yeah.
something that unfortunately needs to be said.
Yeah.
Even myself personally today, I had no chicken cooked. I went out of all of my venison, and I think I had like two protein shakes, rice cakes, and one of these isopeers, which is like 40
That's
grams. They're fantastic, but they're like $6 or $7.
yeah.
It's it's not a cheap alternative, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Thomas, that was a lot of great information for beginners. I appreciate you sharing that information. It's definitely going to help a lot of people, and I know for my the ladies I'm helping, I'm definitely just going to point them in this direction and be like, this is a great video to watch if you want to learn the fundamentals of dieting, quotation marks, and we can kind of talk about foundational training later, but I want to focus on you. I can sit here and talk for hours about dieting and whatnot. I can Google this stuff. This is simple stuff. So you said you had 4 shows that you wanted to do in now. Is that 2020 or is that 2021? When does your typical season start outside of this? I don't want to
So
say the c word. This pandemic.
so it's gonna be in 2021. I just want to take 2020 off. Just give me time to grow, you know. Because I feel like, I competed in like 2018, 2019. I want to take 2020 off, give myself time to grow. So I want to come back in 2021, look like a different person, bigger. I'm a pro now, so I want to, do well on that stage. So I think the shows that I want to do are definitely the Yorton Cup. I want to do the Windy City. I want to do maybe one in KC, and then I want to do Worlds for sure. So those are definitely 4 that I want to do. Once I get into Tennessee, I'll kind of maybe nail down a couple more that are there also. So, but I think that's the order of the 4 I want to do right now. But we'll kind of play it by ear as it goes. So
Yeah. So you'd say you're in your off season right now.
yeah, yeah,
And I was looking at your videos on Instagram. I'll put the plug for your Instagram in the description below.
thanks,
Make
bud.
sure you guys check out Thomas. He's fantastic. Um, you still look lean, even though I can tell that you're um, uh, fuller. So like
Yeah,
I can tell that you're in the off season, but you don't look blown out. You don't look like you're spilling over.
yeah.
And I guess that would be a great lead in into what's your philosophy on off season in reference to bulking versus lean bulking, or if you even do you have any opinions on either one, or go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, I'm really into lean bulking and, that sort of thing. I definitely know some people that have completely thrown that out the window and they've gained 80 plus pounds from stage weight and they don't look like the same person anymore. It's like, oh, okay, like, But, I do really well. I actually have a whiteboard set up where I have all my meals and everything on it. And I just, kind of as I cook, I look over and see what I have to make and that sort of thing. And it has my macros, my weight, motivational quote, that sort of thing. So if like y'all guys want to set that up too, it kind of helps you kind of stay on track what you're doing. Then if you want something to eat, without your significant other, that sort of thing, go out to eat with them, like once a week. That's cool too. But it kind of helps you stay on tracks, that sort of thing. But that's kind of what I do. It helps me stay lean and that sort of thing. And in my off season, it doesn't, let me get too far behind because I know like during the show and like that sort of thing, I usually weigh around 165 ish. So because last year I weighed 155 ish on stage, so I think I'll be somewhere right around there. But yeah, but right now I'm on a mini cut right now.
So I never actually heard of mini cutting until I was listening to Fouad Abiod's podcast. He's a
Yeah.
yeah, you know who he is. Fantastic guy. He was talking with another gentleman, and I'll link it in the description for you guys. What his name is. Um, he was talking about how pros now we're on the IPE NANBF side of bodybuilding. These other gentlemen are on the NPC IFBB side, so there is some differences, obviously, with these mini cuts. What's your opinion on how frequently you or potentially I look forward to seeing when you get your coaching going. It's gonna be awesome. What would you recommend for a standard bodybuilder? Do you just do classic?
I did just do classic, but then my body gets so lean that I'm just gonna switch and just do bodybuilding now.
Okay, because I couldn't remember if I saw you in posing trunks or the classic
Yeah,
trunks.
I did do both
Yeah.
this last year, but I think I'm just gonna switch now and just do bodybuilding. So
Okay.
yeah.
So what would you recommend? Well, let's just use you. What's your philosophy on microcuts, and like how often do you think someone, or how often do you do microcuts during your off season?
Maybe like once.
Once in
Yeah, maybe.
like a
Like,
6 month off season?
yeah, yeah, because the whole point of a bulking season
Sure.
is to gain weight. But the thing is the way we want to gain weight is a lean bulking way.
Yep.
So the only reason why I'm doing a mini cut is for the fact that I've been bulking for 10 months now, something like that. And it's getting to summertime, and I'm like, okay, let's see what we look like. So I'm doing a, 8-week mini cut really quick, and cut down 5-6 pounds, and then I'm gonna bulk back up for another 10 months. So it's kind of a once, twice a year kind of thing. You don't want to do it a whole lot because your body's really gonna only grow, gain muscle size when you're in a surplus. So that's kind of the point. So, but that's kind of the idea of it.
That's great. So
Yeah.
the missus just got home. Um, what would you? How do I want to word it? When you're in your off season, as you are, do you go off percentages for how much of a caloric surplus you're in, or is it more you tailoring it to how you feel and what you feel your body needs?
So I've been doing all my macros and everything on my own for this off season, and so I originally started it based on my macros right before I hit peak week for my last show. So that's where I started, and then I slowly just upped them until I was at like 90 fat, like 420 carb, and like 210 protein. And then my weight kind of like stopped there, fluctuated right there, and I was like, okay, perfect. And but I just did that really slowly, and my weight slowly crept up, and it was perfect. But wait, what was the question again?
Um, what's your? I don't want to keep saying philosophy like I'm some scientist. I just like the word. But what's your take on you personally in your off season? Being, do you look towards more percentage based caloric intake addition, or is it more of like a feel thing where it's like, well, I feel like I need to go 500, 1,000 over.
Yeah, I think it's more of a feel thing and more of a look in the mirror thing.
Mm,
It's more of a look in the mirror, then check the scale.
mm,
So I feel like a lot of people jump on the scale and look in the mirror, and they check the scale way too often. And I feel like if you're going a lot on percentages, your body's going to suffer the way that you look.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like by, going off the way you look and not based off percentages, because everybody's percentages are kind of, different and kind of custom tailored, and I feel like if you go off feel and how you look and how you feel on a day-to-day basis, and how you're training in the gym and how you're performing, then I feel like you'll be successful, especially in your off season. If you see your weights kind of staying the same, your body composition looks good, you're performing well, your body fat percentage is at a decent level to where you're not gaining too much body fat. I feel like you're at a pretty good spot.
That's great.
So I feel like in your season, you don't really need to overthink it too much. If you're eating clean, you're eating good nutrients during the day, you're not eating garbage throughout the day and that sort of thing. Because everybody thinks IIFYM, right?
Yeah,
but
definitely.
But really, it's like, okay, like, let's think about that. Like, there's IIFYM, but there's also like, let's fill that IIFYM with actual good nutrients. You can eat IIFYM with a whole tub of ice cream and it fit your macros, but is that good for you? But really, it's, let's think about how that's gonna fit your macros. So
yeah. And I don't know how long you've been watching YouTube. How old are you, Thomas?
24.
You're 24? Okay, so we're about the same age. There was a guy, oh shoot, I forgot his name. He was Asian, and he did like IIFY. If it fits your macros, guys, that's what he's talking about. He did an entire contest prep with eating just based off macros, and it was all junk food. Not all junk food, but a lot of it was junk food. And you could definitely see from one show to the other a diminished look in his physique, much more water retention, I think, from the extra sodium. But maybe somebody can adjust their sodium intake to reflect that and whatnot. I don't know. I'm not that at that level. But I think it's important. That was a great point to point out at the end of that statement, is that if you're tracking your macronutrients, especially if you're not a beginner, it's important to reflect on your physique and look at where the weight is coming from and going. If you're spilling over in certain areas, you need to keep that in mind along with your macronutrients. It's not all about numbers. Bodybuilding is a sport of symmetry. So I think that's a great point, Thomas. Let's go ahead and finish this off with, what's your philosophy on training and training splits? What's your personal opinion? Like, what do you do for your training splits as an IPE pro?
I've done a lot of different training splits. I've done like back and buys, chest and tries, legs. When I tore my ACL in December of 2018, I did legs 3 days a week to build that thing back up again. But right now my training split is one body part a day, so it's like quads, chest, back, shoulders, arms, hamstrings. So I feel like I can really focus on the body part that way instead of trying to do like chest and back a day, or trying to do like shoulders and triceps a day or something like that. So I can really focus on the body part, get in out of there at a good time, and then I can also add in some sort of abs or a little bit of cardio in there, or something like that, stretching, rolling, foam rolling, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think it's important. Like, a lot of people, start a training split in their bulking season, they'll completely change it for when they start prep. But really, it should be the exact same training split, because it shouldn't matter, what training split you're doing, as long as you're working the muscles appropriately. So, I would probably keep the same exact training split when I'm, in prep. Working this, one muscle, a day, that sort of thing, focusing on it, gives me time to do my 45 minutes cardio, 400 abs, and I'm out of there. So, but yeah, a lot of people change it up and they're doing like all this other extra stuff during prep, when really they need to get home, eat, fill themselves up, and get sleep. So
yeah. I think that's that's a great way. That's a great way to look at it. It's kind of interesting. I thought it was really interesting that you trained your hamstrings separate than your quads. Like, how many days apart do you give your hamstrings to quads in a weekly training split?
I put them on opposite ends of the week. The reason why I train my hamstrings independently is because when I had my ACL torn, they took a hamstring graft and they turned that into my new ACL.
Hmm.
So they took a piece of my hamstring out on my right side and they put it in my knee. So
Wow.
but yeah, so it took me a lot of rehab and that kind of stuff to get that leg back to where it needed to be.
And you said that was in 2018?
Yeah, December 2018.
So that was before we met.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you still came in diced.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It was one heck of it because I already signed up for the show when I tore that thing. So I had to freaking go through rehab, train, so I tore it, and then a week later I was back in the gym after surgery, lifting upper body.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember seeing videos of somebody in the 90s. They had a full leg cast and they were still benching 4 plates.
Yeah.
So I mean, that makes sense. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Training splits. What have you been following, like bodybuilding in general? I know for the IPE, NA, and BF, it's not really correlated with IFBB pros and IFBB bodybuilding. But I mean, I still think it's important that we understand that bodybuilding is still bodybuilding. Have you been following any bodybuilding news lately about the shows and the Olympia moving? Like, what's your thoughts on that?
The fact that they're all getting canceled and moved and all that kind of stuff, I haven't really been honestly kind of keeping up with that kind of stuff, just for the fact that I wasn't doing any shows this year, so I was just, kind of putting it on the back burner and, I was just happy that, during this quarantine I was able to get to a little private gym and work out every day and that sort of thing, so I was able to, kind of keep some sort of muscle tone and symmetry and that sort of thing, but so then when I did get back, I was able to do something, so.
That's good.
But yeah, I didn't really pay too much of attention to all that kind of stuff, just for the fact that it, just would have worried me and all that kind of stuff, so.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, were you able to get into a gym or anything anywhere?
Yeah, luckily, I have a storage unit that I lease, and it's literally right in the parking lot of my apartment complex. And I actually last year before our show, the Midwest Classic in 2019, I used a good chunk of my tax money, and I bought like a squat rack, a Smith rack, bars, plates, benches. I recently got some flooring in there, so I mean I have a fairly equipped gym. So I was able to train during this whole pandemic.
That's good.
Yeah, right. But oh my gosh, once I got back into the Olympic gym in Kansas City here, wow, I don't think people understand how much of a difference being in a hardcore, quote unquote, hardcore gym and training out of your garage. The environment pushes you to another level. And I definitely noticed my training skyrocket once I got back into the actual gym. Just wow.
Yeah.
And actually,
Definitely up a little bit, everything kind of moves at a higher level. So,
you warm up a little bit better. You can push yourself just a little bit harder. It's great.
yeah.
I recently started kind of I parted ways with my old coach on good terms, so I'm doing everything myself, which is wow, it's exciting. Training though, I've always enjoyed making training programs for friends and for myself, and kind of playing around with different angles and how to hit muscle groups in different ways to better optimize muscular growth. And I've noticed recently started I like to call it a bodybuilding 5x5, where you take like a strong lifts 5x5 program, if you're familiar with it.
Strong lift 5x5.
Yeah,
Yeah,
strong
never.
lifts. Okay, it's pretty much so like when I was in high school, I started weight training with the bigger, faster, stronger program.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that one it's a little different. The 5x5 is pretty much you take a deadlift, a barbell bench press, a barbell back squat, and a either a bent over row or a pen lay row, and you just program that to be 5 sets of 5, increasing in weight by 5 pounds each set, and you just keep going until you die. So you can train for 40 months, however long you can go until you plateau out, and then you just start playing around with weights. And wow, for me personally, I love it. The Penlay row, I've never really done that before, but I immediately saw my lats just pop
Yeah.
within 3 weeks.
Yeah. Because
Uh,
you literally get to stretch so much as like your length of bent over.
yeah,
Yeah.
I feel for me personally, I was always scared of. I always I heard something about disc shearing, where your lower back with the pressure of a deadlift or a barbell squat, it like grinds the plates and it erodes the padding between your discs,
Yeah.
and it kind of limited my training intensity and my ability to do heavy lifts. So now that I've kind of adopted the idea of lift big, get big, uh, don't tell anyone, but I whisper that to myself every time I do rack pulls. Uh, but ever since I started doing that, I've really felt a huge difference in my training, my size, my. Now I don't have a great physique. I'm still a novice, even though I've been doing this forever. But I've noticed huge changes in my lats and my chest,
Yeah.
with like really going after benching, barbell bench pressing, doing deadlifts and slapping some plates on there. I think that it's important for you beginner guys and girls listening. Don't be afraid to lift heavy as long as you've learned the form and you have base foundational strength. That's something I emphasize a lot with my channel, and I'm going to be emphasizing a lot with you guys. Is you need to build good, sound foundational strength. Learn how to bench, learn how to squat and deadlift, learn how to what do you call it when you're compressing your core? How to breathe?
Like Valsalva.
Yeah. So, kind of like that. The Valsalva maneuver. I think it's important, and Google that, guys. Check it out. And you don't need a degree. I know Thomas is very educated and very smart, and I look forward to seeing what he does with his education. But you don't have to have a degree to be able to just hop on Google and learn some of these basic foundational things. And that's what I've done myself. Not knocking, of course, formal education. I think we covered a lot of stuff. That's I mean, we could definitely do. I mean, we
Yeah.
got this is the end of part two, but God, we could probably go on. I have like half a sheet still of questions.
Yeah. I'm not doing much else. Go for it.
Shit. Well, I mean, my girlfriend was gone for 2 days, so I have to wrap up.
Yeah.
And we started watching Avatar, right? The
Yeah.
Airbender, the anime thing.
Morning. I finished it this
Oh,
morning.
you finished it? Finished it?
Yeah.
Oh man, don't spoil it. I've never seen it, so we
You never
just
seen it? What?
bro, like my life was so like I was raised like strict Christian my whole life until I joined the army, and then I experienced life after 18. So like I couldn't do anything. I didn't watch TV, nothing. So my girlfriend Jasmine, she just started watching. We started watching it, and I think we're on like I think we just got to the Earth Kingdom because they were just gonna go and see. They were gonna free that crazy old dude.
Yeah,
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 yeah, and then he that turned out like he was waiting to, so they didn't take him, and then now I think they're gonna go to Ba Sing Se. Uh,
yeah.
and my girlfriend's been gone for a couple days, so I think that's probably what we're gonna do tonight. Um,
Cool.
but yeah, don't spoil anything for me. Uh,
It's pretty good. I finished it this morning. I think it took me 3 or 4 days to watch all 3 seasons, but
okay, so you watched it on Netflix? How it just got
yeah,
added? Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Just
So
watched it.
she had all the DVDs, so we busted out this old DVD player and we're switching them out, and then they just added Netflix. We're like, oh,
It's kind of funny you call a DVD player old.
well, I mean, a DVD. I think they stopped. Do they
They
even
stopped.
make DVD players?
I don't know.
I mean, I was around when VHS. I was born in
Yeah,
'93, so I
yeah,
mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm old already.
yeah. No.
At least that's what my neck's telling me. Have you seen? Have you watched the show The Last Kingdom? Oh my god, bro! I binged. I think eight 1 hour episodes in the last 24 hours. It's unhealthy. I shouldn't have rest days.
That's really unhealthy.
Like, I had a rest day yesterday. I did nothing. I sat there and just watched TV
Watching.
and ate rice cakes and protein shakes. It's I hate rest days, but a wise man once told me that if you don't rest, you're not going to grow.
True.
So I think I went like 2 months without a rest day, just push pull legs, push pull legs, push pull legs, running running hard because I'm in the army, running 6 days a week, and now it's to the point where like bottoms of my feet hurt so bad, like I have to use one of those those lacrosse balls, the double lacrosse balls to roll my feet, just so I can feel my feet. Like
Gee.
I have what do you call it? A addictive personality when it comes to things. So I go hard into things like this foundational strength bodybuilding
Right.
5x5 is
Yeah.
jumping into it.
Yeah. I feel that.
All right, so it's getting kind of late. Is there anything you want to put out? Plug your channels, plug your soon-to-be coaching company.
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram. He'll plug it in the thing. That's all I got, man.
All right,
But
so do you prefer Thomas or Tom or
yeah, just go by Thomas.
Thomas? Okay, you fancy like
Yeah.
that? All
Yeah.
right, cool, cool. All right, Thomas. Hey, thanks so much for hopping in here. We'll definitely have to get you on
Yeah.
soon and plug your brain for some more good foundational dieting and weight training questions. So have a good day, man. Guys, check out his Instagram. I will put it in the description. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for checking out the Real AF Bodybuilding podcast, and I'll see you guys in the next one.